Good afternoon. Welcome to a space where velvet lapels, beaded brooches, and cultural reclamation collide. Tonight, we're not just talking about fashion. We're talking about the politics of polish, the swagger of self-determination, and how a crisply tailored jacket can carry centuries of resistance. Black dandyism isn't just about looking good, though let's admit, we do that effortlessly. It's about subverting the gaze, rewriting colonial scripts, and stitching new narratives into every hemline. So buckle your loafers, fluff your pocket squares. We're about to get into the threads and thoughts that make Black dandyism not just a style, but a statement. I'm Brittany Ora, attorney, stylist, fashion contributor, and creative. I'm here tonight on behalf of Charlotte-based custom clothing and lifestyle brand OMJ Clothing, and I could not be more honored to moderate tonight's amazingly talented panel. Without further ado, let's kick things off with giving a big round of applause to the designers who showcased last night at the 4th annual Gullah Gala, Gullah Gatsby last evening. This afternoon, we'll get to know a little bit more about Miss Casey Murray, who debuted a collection last night at the Gullah Gala. And then after we speak with Casey Murray, we're going to get to know a few of the other panelists a little bit more. So without further ado, Casey, I'm going to have you introduce a little bit about yourself and talk about your line last night.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Casey Murray. I am a hairstylist, and I've been doing hair for 16 years. Came right out of high school with my license and wasn't exactly sure which direction I wanted to go in. A lot of times, as many of us know, just being creative, that it's hard to kind of figure out which avenue you want to take. I knew I didn't want to go the traditional route of college and, wasting time and money. So I was like, okay, well, let me do hair. And it's still a big passion of mine, but it's not the entirety of who I am. And so last night, I showcased a collection for the first time ever. And the collection is called Joie de Monet, which means the joy of me. And I would have to say, my inspiration for the collection was definitely Western Derby. I wanted to not only just have a very Western, the denim on denim. I also wanted to incorporate the Kentucky Derby where, people come out there and they're super fly with their dresses and their headpieces and, all those things, and just definitely have a mash up between the two of those. And as far as my music and the story that I wanted to tell, so the music that I chose is Yeva's Heartbreak, and then I went into 16 Carriages, and then into Daughters, and back into 16 Carriages. The reason that I did that particular sequence is because I feel like, obviously, being creative is hard, right? Very hard. We're oftentimes very misunderstood, and I wanted to talk about the sacrifices through music that us as creatives often have to make, being misunderstood by our families and loved ones, and the sacrifices financially that we have to make in order for us to forge a path that maybe has never been forged before, or especially, gosh, we live in the South. So being a true Charlestonian, I feel like I definitely, people really did not understand my style. And oftentimes they're like, well, you need to move. You need to go to a bigger city. And I'm like, why should I leave the place that I love to express myself? I'm a Charlestonian. I'm going to be a Charlestonian. And I'm just going to be exceptional here. And so 16 Carriages to me just really showcased that. Beyonce talks about the struggles and the sacrifices that she made in order for her to be successful, in the industry. And I went into Doors, the opera part, specifically because it talks about it's a song that pleads out, I love you. Why do you hurt me so? And that was my cry to the industry. I love doing what I do and it hurts, but the joy of who I am makes all the sacrifices worth it. And that's the story that I really wanted to tell.
Thank you for that, Casey. And that's amazing. I had no idea that you did hair. I have viewed your profile a few times when stalking you, seeing some of your designs. But when I saw your collection come down the runway with that hair on the clothes, I was like, wow. It blew me away. Can you tell me a little bit about some things that motivate you, people, places, things that come out in your designs?
So I would have to say, if you all don't know, so my sister actually was a part of my show yesterday. She was the one that was the very last with the really like the floor length braids. And my family, I would have to say, like I'm the oldest, so it is my goal to be an inspiration to not just my siblings. I don't want my siblings to have to look up to nobody else. You know, you can get inspiration from other things, but we came from the same house, you came from the same struggles. So therefore I want them to know that we can make it, period. You know, as a Black woman, as a double minority, you know, again in the South, you can do anything that you put your heart to. You just have to work hard and just keep pushing forward.
Thank you. Well, Casey, thank you so much for joining us up here on the panel.
Thank you.
I don't have any more questions for you unless anyone in the audience has any questions for Ms. Casey Murray. Ashley?
What inspired the actual fabrics that you use and the designs?
Sometimes I just get in the zone and I'm like, the piece that had the faux locks that was all over. I thought about basket weaving because obviously that's a big part of our culture as Charlestonians, and it's the Gala, so why not? You know. As far as the hats, I love Beyonce, obviously. So, you know, just bringing some of Beyonce in here, and like I said, just Kentucky Derby, definitely. I love my whole family. I would have to say we're fashion people. Like I was the kid that my mom got the outfit for the birthday party, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. You know, all the things that we just had to get dressed up all the time. Yeah.
Thank you, Casey. And before I let you exit the panel, tell me a little bit about what you're wearing today.
So today, I mean, we're talking about dandyism. They're going to be talking about dandyism. So I definitely love like brooches and accessories, and I love just texture, bringing texture, color, all the things together.
I love the house suit, Jenny girl.
Thank you.
We got one more question.
More question?
Oh, yes. I was just wondering, I really appreciated some of the sequencing of the actual runway show last night, like how you had in the final walk, how you had them on like holding Eustace boob braids at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered what went into, or what your thought process was for how you actually sequenced your outfits and when they came out.
Okay, that's a great question, actually. So the story was she was like the queen of the rodeo, which is why she had the hair crown. And when she came out, it was like her letting her hair down, and I wanted it to come out on 16 Carriages again, where she talks about leading her family into legacy for people to remember who she is. And so I wanted it to feel like the last became first, if that makes sense. And she literally was leading them back into another dimension of a new era, and you know, all this.
We got one more question.
What was your favorite piece for last night that you made?
Okay. That's hard. I would have to say probably definitely the Folox one. Yeah, I feel like just it took so much time in putting all the details in there. That definitely, I would have to say that probably was my favorite. But stylistically, the rodeo queen.
Okay,
Yeah.
honey.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, if there are no more questions from Ms. Casey Murray, let's hear a round of applause for her. All right, guys. This next set of panelists include George Miller, custom clothing specialist for Dumas & Sons, Devin Smalls, founder of the Gala, and a talented designer in his own right, and our featured panelist of the afternoon, Quentin Thrash, celebrity stylist and designer and owner of Thrash Bespoke. For the sake of time, guys, I'm going to ask you all to briefly state who you are, what you do, what motivated you to start, and what inspires you to continue. Thrash, you can kick it off.
Well, my name is Quentin Thrash, and I'm a bespoke menswear designer. I kind of got my start in menswear here in Charleston when I started thrifting. That's when I was finally able to actually be able to afford to wear suits, right? Because I was able to wear, like, you know what I'm saying, affordable things. And once I moved to LA is when I was opened up to a lot more things that I just didn't have access to when I was here at the age that I was at. I didn't understand tailoring at the time. You know what I mean? I was just wearing whatever suit I found that I liked. I was just wearing it until, like, when I got to LA, someone introduced me to, like, no, like, you actually got to go use a tailor. Mm-hmm. And once I did that, it's like I completely nerded out on it. And I became the head hunter that everybody came to about tailoring.
Right.
But what was the end part of the question?
What you do, what motivated you to start, and what inspires you to continue.
What inspires you to continue? The most inspiring thing is knowing where I come from, because I'm from a small town in Georgia, and knowing that I'm a catalyst of, like, for the younger generation who may not have had access to people that inspire them, or for them to have someone that looks like them, that talks like them, that, you know what I'm saying, to see that someone else that, you know what I'm saying, that looks like them is doing the things that they may have interest in or they may have dreamt of, but they never had the access to be able to do it. So that's kind of like the biggest part of what I do, is like making sure that the younger generation behind me see someone that looks like them and showing them that they can, you know what I'm saying, that they can do the same things.
Mm-hmm. Inspiring the next generation. All right, George.
My name is George Miller. I'm a wardrobe consultant in Dumas & Sons. I spent 16 years in the business. I did 6.5 with Ralph Lauren at one of the flagship stores in Atlanta. So my mom was a tailor. So one of my inspirations was her. And like I spoke in one of the clips earlier this week, I said, you know, we couldn't go 2 or 3 blocks or outside of that parameter without looking like we're representing our household. So it's imperative for me to go ahead and continue what she wanted us to do as kids. So I feel like it's imperative that I step out and look clean every day, just because.
And George, you do. I'm telling y'all.
Yeah. You know, something like this is, I appreciate you inviting us out just because of our culture. We exemplify ourselves every day when we step out, whether it's in our athleisure wear or whether we're doing something eclectic, like Thrash's style is very eclectic. Mine is a little more, I would say, continental, where I kind of keep it close to the edge. Yeah, more of a traditional style. But what inspires me is, at one point in time when I was young, I would look at older guys wearing things that I desire to wear. And I want to make sure that I can pave the road for young guys to do the same exact thing. So those two things are important to me, to be able to do the things I want to do in spirit for what I was taught from my household, but to inspire young kids to do the same thing that I'm doing right now, like Thrash and Devin, and those who are creative in their own right.
Thank you, George.
How y'all doing? My name is Dad Smalls. Damn, that sounds a little deep, doesn't it? But yeah, founder and creator of Highest in the Room, the Gala, and my clothing brand is called Rigid Bond. So I got started. I'm self-taught. I got started in like I picked up a sewing machine like 20 books. Right, so I teach myself how to sew. I went to an older lady that went to my church, and she kind of gave me, like, you know, the basics of how to sew, how to thread the machine, to shop for patterns, things of that nature. And I sat down probably about 3 years after she taught me those stuff, and I picked the sewing machine back up once I went active duty, and I was stuck in the barracks room with nothing to do. So I was just like, all right, let me take this thing a little serious. So I really started teaching myself while I was in Texas, and I ended up going to Korea around COVID time. That's when everything was shut down, so I wasn't really able to experience the culture like that. But I would sneak off base by myself, and I would like take a train to like Seoul, and I'll see like the fashion. So I used to get inspired by like the older dudes and people that that had that thing on for real, and that kind of like made me want to like get into fashion and stuff even more, So I started doing that, paying more attention to that, and once I came back from Korea and I got stationed in Fort Stewart, Georgia, I came up with the idea of Gala. I was making clothes and stuff while I was in Korea, but nobody knew me for fashion. Nobody knew me knew me as being a designer. So I came up with the idea like, all right, I want people to know about my brand, but people are not gonna know I put shrimp on my own. So what I did was I gathered like a few designers within the Charleston area, and I created this event, but not only with designers, but also Black-owned businesses. And I gave, most of the influence in Charleston, a lot of businesses, a lot of designers, basically like a low platform to come in and pop their stuff, you know what I mean? So we did that. The first one was big. And yeah, it just became a thing. So that's pretty much how it started, like everything I'm doing now.
What inspires you to continue?
It's the people, man. The people that love. We have so many talent here in Charleston, and I just feel like we all need to be heard. We all need to be seen. Yeah, that inspires me the most. That inspires me the most to keep it going.
All right. And I do want to piggyback off of a point that Casey made when she was up here. I want each of you to kind of delve into what challenges you still face today as creatives. And then George and Devin, specifically like in the South, here in Charleston, Thrash, any kind of like roadblocks or something blocks you kind of hit in LA or any other places that you've been. So Devin, you can kick it off or we can start it. You can hand it to Thrash.
Some of the challenges that I face, especially being here in the South, I know like when I first started really trying to put myself out there, I would take a lot of trips out to New York. So I go to New York Fashion. I got a partner out there who was kind of like trying to put me on. And I would ask him like, hey man, you think, this would fly in New York or in Charleston? He was like, nah, to be honest with you, like the fashion community in New York and LA and all that stuff, like they don't let no outsiders in, and I saw that firsthand. So I was like, it kind of motivated me, like being ex-military, being like ex-athlete and all that stuff. When I hear certain things, like people tell me, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, it made me go harder, like it made me want to do it even more. So I kind of took that as motivation for me to like really, all right, you telling me no, you're telling me I can't do this. All right, well, I can show you better, I can tell you. So even though I'm self-taught, I don't know a lot of stuff about fashion, like details and stuff like that, but I see what I see and I like what I see. And if I like, I try it. And I take note and I just turn to yeah, and I just keep going like that. And I just use that as motivation. So I don't really care about like, I didn't go to school and stuff with fashion, you know what I mean? So I didn't have nobody tell me, all right, this is how you gotta do this is how you gotta do that. So whatever I think, that's just what it is. I don't follow no rules.
Do you consider that a setback in any way, like that you didn't go to school? Or do you ever hear any feedback from other creatives who might have been traditionally trained?
I don't see it as a setback, just because I don't really be caring about like school stuff like that. I went to school, but I didn't go to school for fashion. But I feel like if I went to school for it, I would have been, further along. But I'm cool. Like I'm just enjoying the process. I'm having fun with it, and everything is just organic. I love the process. I love being able to say, hey, I did that. Nobody taught me how to do this. I did this all by myself. So, just doing it my way, unapologetically, that's what I love the most.
All right, George.
One of the challenges for me in my career, I felt like it's kind of like the two-part answer. One is political.
Yeah.
The other one is
Get into it.
have the support of the community. I've been on King Street for over 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
For a black man to have a spot on King Street, it's challenging.
Yes,
It's $90 to $100 per square foot. If you want your business in the peninsula, in the downtown area, that's hard to do. After that, you have to actually go ahead and see if you're going to go ahead and get the vendors to support what your vision is. The other part is getting the support. While you're trying to get to the next level and have a business or brick and mortar or any part of ownership, you have to have the support of your own community.
Mm-hmm.
And none of us in this room can measure the level of envy, so it becomes difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So as you progress in your business, you just have to stay focused and know that if this is what you're built for, you can go wherever you stand.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, yes, support of your community, and 2, getting past the political barriers that stand in front of you.
Thank you, George.
So what we're talking about,
Challenges that you face.
challenges that I did, man. I feel so many different challenges. Some of them not as glamorous as others. Like, one of the things for me to be in bespoke menswear is such a more mature thing, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I struggle with is the fact that I look so young. So it's hard to convince someone to buy a $4,000 or $5,000 suit from a guy that you think is probably fresh out of college, not knowing that I'm, the age that I am. So that's something that I constantly kind of battle with. Is like dealing with these more mature businessmen and celebrities and things like that, when they think that you don't have the knowledge that you actually have for what you do. So that's one thing that's always not bothered me, but that's one of the things always kind of like worked against me. Another thing would probably be the fact that my style is so, like you say, eclectic. Naturally, people are attracted to it and people love to see it. They're like, oh my God, like, this is really amazing. I love what I see. I just couldn't wear it. And a lot of people automatically assume that I only know how to dress or style or design for them the way that I dress myself, which isn't the case. So people love to see it and love to support it, but they're afraid of it. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, because they're like, I'm not 6'4". I'm not 6'4" and slim, so I could never wear that stuff. And it's like, no, like, you really understood that I know my craft and understand this. I know how to tailor whatever whatever you're trying to achieve. I know how to give each and every individual, what they're looking for.
Right. Thrash, I love that answer. And I just wanted to kind of circle back around to the beginning of what you're saying, it being challenging because you're young. Myself,
I look young.
You look young. I mean, and are young.
Yeah,
honey, you are young.
That's
what? Yeah. At OMJ was me being a woman and me looking young and trying to get people into custom suits, and bespoke clothing is the same thing. They think that you don't know what you're talking about, or you're not as knowledgeable. You don't have a good understanding of fabrics. And then I feel like it's the challenges as a woman in this arena are sevenfold. But thank you for touching on that. All right, guys. Well, I think let's go ahead and dive into questions about dandyism. All right, and this is a question for all of you, Devin, before you exit stage left. How do you personally define Black dandyism, and how does that definition show up in your design practice? George, I know that you are a wardrobe consultant, so I would say for you in answering this question, talk about maybe how you steer clients into which fabrics to pick, which styles of suits to wear. How does Black dandyism influence those choices or the choices that you present to clients? Then kick it off.
So for me, when it comes to Black dandyism, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. you heard about Black Dandyism during the Met Gala.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, so all this is new to me, right? And again, like I'm self-taught, so I haven't really dived into, all the detail about dandyism. But to me, dandyism is just self-expression. It's just who you are, you know what I mean? So how do you carry yourself? It don't matter. You can like dandyism to me, you can wear like sweatsuits, it's sweatsuit dandies, you know what I mean? I was listening to a conversation with Dapper Dan on YouTube, and he spoke about that. So that's something that I learned. So when it comes to dandyism, like that's my idea of dandyism, just how you carry yourself, self-expression,
All right, Jordan, same question. How do you personally define Black dandyism, and how does that definition show up in your work?
This is gonna be funny, but I look through the eyes of a black church when I see dandyism.
I love that. I love that.
If you go to service on Sunday, you can see it every day.
Right.
And it gets even bigger on Easter. So, I mean, it's like when you see the looks of some of the folks that's in your church and in your community, that exemplifies dandyism to me, simply because you don't know what they've been through all week, but they know on Sunday they gotta have their best. So they come out in their best. So sometimes I'll peep at some of the people in pews, women and men, and get ideas, and I can bring it to the forefront into my customers. And it's a big, colorful thing, because sometimes people want to stay a little more conservative with their looks, but when you see a person with a hat, a jacket, stripes, patterns, because it's always been taught that you can't wear pattern on top of pattern. But some of our people in our culture can wear pattern on top of pattern at their best, and they still look good. So anytime I think of dandyism, it's a worldwide thing because you can go anywhere. But in the South, in the black church, that definition was dandyism.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, Thrash.
So, for me, Black dandyism is really like, and the same thing these guys are saying, is really just a form of self-expression. But for me, in the sartorial space of wearing like well-tailored garments and things, for me, it's always been something where I've always wanted to make sure that I represented myself and my people well, while still being able to show how creative I am. So I did an Instagram post about this a while ago about the difference between purists and creatives. So you have a lot of people who are just purists. The dandy is gonna tend to be more on the creative side of, right, you know what I'm saying, that purist person. So for me, a lot of the things I wear seem to be so like out of the box and crazy. But like if you turn the lights off on everything I'm wearing, I am still in a very traditional, timeless outfit. It's just the way that I play with colors, the way I play with patterns, is me being able to show my creativity while still paying homage to all the, you know what I'm saying, the things that came, you know what I'm saying, before me. So that's what is most important for me, is especially in design, is to be able to design things that will never go out of style, things that I can always wear. I can wear them today when I'm 36. I'll be able to wear it when I'm 86. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's important to me.
You guys. So next question I have is, historically, dandyism was seen as subversive. How do you view its role in Black cultural resistance today?
For me, I don't know if I actually see it as, for myself, I can speak for myself. I don't necessarily know if I see it as resistance. But in a sense I do, because I remember when I first started really wanting to present myself that way, when I went from wearing all the streetwear stuff and the Jordans and the sagging and stuff like that, it was more so of like trying to show you like, yo, like, don't count me out just because I'm young and black. You know what I'm saying? I can really put that shit on too. I can really put it on, and I'm well spoken, I'm educated, all of that stuff. So it was kind of a way just to speak without having to speak.
Okay. George?
I don't think there's a level of resistance. I mean, especially when you're expressing yourself, whether you use some Air Force Ones, Tim's, jeans, and just a regular tank top, or your favorite t-shirt. I just feel like if we step out at our best and know that we screw up good, the beauty of putting clothes on is to be able to feel good in it while you're wearing it. Because if you don't feel good in it while you're wearing it, there's going to be some self-resistance. So while you're out, keep a smile on your face, step out, know that you look your best. And whatever you got, whether it's a thrift shop or whether it's a tailored suit, just allow yourself to feel comfortable and be happy while you're wearing what you wear. There's no resistance.
All right. And I do want to explain that question a little bit more. I think this question that I tailored more so came from the place of the historical definition of a dandy. So this is like going way, way, way back to when dandyism first started with Black folk. And back in the day, when we kind of did take back our style and kind of, turn the European suit on its head, it became subversive in a way where other cultures kind of looked at Black people and they were like, oh, well, you look good and you're colorful and you're, wearing all these timeless pieces, but you're broke. You don't have no money. You don't got 2 pennies to rub together. And so that is kind of where that question was coming from. Like, we are taking kind of that story back where we can wear colorful clothes, we can be loud, but we're also taking care of business behind the scenes. And that is the type of resistance that a Black dandy today brings to the forefront. So that's kind of like where that question was coming from.
Yeah, and that's kind of the beauty of the Black dandy. Is like, even though some of us may not come from affluent places, it's like being able to still like, just because my circumstances are this way doesn't mean that I have to portray myself that way. You know what I mean? So I think that's like the really important thing about, the Black dandyism. It's like, if you think about, I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with the Saperes of the Congo, but it's like these guys literally live in dirt huts sometimes, but when they get off work, they come and put that shit on, and that's just how they show their liberation. They show this is how we feel about ourselves. We don't care about what you think our reality is. This is how we feel about ourselves. And I don't care what outside of here, I don't care what y'all think. This is what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always say a lot of times, like, Black joy in and of itself is rebellion. So to me, the dandy is a rebellious figure, is a rebellious style, especially today, especially for Black folk. Did I don't know if you wanted to hop in on this question? You're good. Okay. All right, guys. Next question is, what tension, if any, exists between luxury fashion and liberation when designing for or as a Black dandy? And I can repeat it.
Yeah, repeat that thing.
What tension, if any, exists between luxury fashion and liberation when designing for or as a Black dandy?
That's an interesting question. I think when it comes to luxury fashion, a lot of the luxury houses take a lot of inspiration from guys like, us.
Absolutely. Look at Gucci. Look at LV.
Yeah, exactly. So this didn't necessarily start out as this, what's the word? It didn't necessarily start out as a luxurious thing. This is just who we are. This is just how we work. And then the luxury brands, they saw this and were like, we can make this into something else than what it was. I don't know. It's an interesting bit.
Do you think there's a tension there? Do you think the Black community sees that, though, when they're looking at luxury fashion and, thinking about where the Black dollar goes, where we're putting our money at, and kind of like realizing that is like that kind of tension being there, where a lot of you will use our likeness and you will use, junk our swag and everything. You're making all this money. But really it's our culture, we still own it and then they take it and profit off of it. So kind of like that tension there.
Yeah. For me, I'm very in my own space and I don't really seek validation from the outside. So like, I'm very more so much like into whatever it is that I'm into. I don't care if you like it or dislike it, but genuinely and naturally, I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to do my thing. And then I'm going to attract the people who are genuinely attracted to this. So, like, I don't necessarily worry about all the other stuff. Like, there's a lot of things in history that we should be upset about. But I choose what I allow to affect me. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm more like, man, y'all do what y'all gonna do. I'm gonna continue to do what I do, and eventually y'all gonna have to catch up because y'all can't make a move until I make a move.
Facts. All right. George?
So I don't see a resistance. I'm emotionally independent, so my approach and response is always going to be different. I can take some of my suits that I sell at $14,000-$15,000 and show someone a suit for $500 and make it look the same. It's all based on construction, composition, things of that nature. So I don't really see a resistance. My job is to kind of hurdle over whatever that resistance may be to accomplish what I need. We as Black folks have a brilliant mind. We can take some of the smallest things and make it look bigger than what people think. So I don't really fall into a luxury name brand or see a resistance with one, because who knows what you're wearing unless you show them the label.
Exactly. Right. And tailoring is everything. As if you're wearing an outfit that fits appropriately. I mean, sometimes you couldn't tell if this person spent $10,000 on this suit or if they got it from a thrift store and decided to tailor it on the back. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. It's juicy.
All right, guys. Does dressing too well as a Black person still disrupt expectations in 2025? How do you play with or challenge those assumptions in your work?
I come from the land of never thinking that there's a such thing as dressing too well. You know what I mean? Like I'm always gonna be dressed up because at the end of the day, it's all about how I represent myself and how I view myself and how I want to present myself to the world. And I never want you to like take me lightly. It's like, you know, this ain't whatever you thought this was. It's like, no, I'm gonna always operate at the highest level.
I'm gonna leave it simple. Dress how you want to be paid.
Ooh, George, I love that. Love it.
You're gonna dress how you want to be paid, and you're gonna get less. So that's that.
All right, and that's that.
Bars.
All right. How does your work engage with the performative aspects of fashion? Are your designs meant to be worn, seen, or both?
Mine are definitely meant to be worn and seen. They're definitely both. Typically, people wouldn't wear a suit all day, every day. Me, I do. You do as well. You know what I mean? I definitely believe if you know what you're doing, if you're wearing the proper type of garments, if you're wearing the right fabrics, if you're tailoring things properly, you can still be comfortable within that. And I used to say, I remember when I was younger, I used to say that I'm more comfortable knowing that I'm well dressed than worried about wearing like sweats or a t-shirt. Like I'm literally more comfortable knowing that I'm presenting myself well, and that no matter what room I walk in, I'm always gonna be presented well. I'm never gonna be like, ooh man, I should have came correct. I never have to worry about it. I'd rather be overdressed than anything.
Stay ready, so you gotta get ready.
Yeah, stay ready, get ready. Right.
I love that. And also piggybacking off of that, Thrash. I had a mentor once tell me that if you dress up every day and you're prepared, you set yourself up for the opportunity to say yes more opportunities. There can be like your biggest client walking in the door that day, and because of how you dress, you might not have been feeling well, so you might say no because you're like, oh, this client really wants me to come do a house visit, but I'm not put together, you know, and you're turning away opportunities. So if you're prepared and you stay ready, you have more opportunities to say yes.
And then another thing that I've learned to appreciate that I didn't intentionally do it, but I started noticing, and is that the way that I dress, the way that I present myself, I encourage others to do the same. So time and time again, people tell me like, oh, I know Thrash is going to be there. I know I got to step my game up. So that's you know what I'm saying, just icing on the cake for me, is knowing that like what I'm doing, I'm actually projecting forward, like helping other people. You know what I'm saying? Take life, you know what I'm saying? A little bit more, not necessarily take it serious. Doesn't have to be serious, but just not just doing the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Like I definitely I want to see all my Black people like thrive and look good, and you know what I'm saying, and be successful. And the way you present yourself is gonna be the very first stepping stone. You know what I'm saying? Stepping stone to that. Like the way, like you said, we say we don't judge a book by its cover, but realistically, we all do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if the very first, you know what I'm saying, wall that you have to hit with me is, do I trust this guy, or does this guy look educated? Does he look like he know what he's talking about? You know what I'm saying? It ain't just about trying to look better than somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, like, does this person look like the type of person that I can trust with whatever it may be, or does this look like the type of person that just knows what he's talking about, that I can trust, and that's important.
George.
On my Instagram, I usually use a term that says we dream our dreams with our eyes closed, but we live our dreams with your eyes wide open. So for me, I want to be seen, but not in a way where it comes out as I'm being arrogant. I wanted to see it as a level of confidence. I want to be able to get a couple of espresso for $5 and go back to work and sell a suit for $5,000 because you were seen. So my thing is, I want to be seen. But I feel like we as a culture have to not get in a place where we're uncomfortable with what we have on. Just know that you look your best and you're comfortable while doing it. Because a lot of us will buy an outfit for the engagement or the party, and it never gets seen again.
Right.
Buy it so you can consistently wear it and be comfortable in it, so people can see. Because you don't have to say a whole lot of things for people to talk to you. You can walk in the building and take the air out the room, and someone will come up and say something to you, and that might open a door for you and your future.
Right. Matter of fact, speaking of that, like, even for me, another thing that I noticed was, because of the way that I present myself, I don't have to explain myself to people no more. If you ask me what I do and I tell you what I do, the first thing people say, of course, I should have known. You know what I mean? Like, we was at this little pizza spot last night, and it was this like older white guy and his wife, and the first thing he looked at me, he's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "You got to be some type of celebrity or something." I was like, "Nah, man, I'm just a fashion designer." You know what I mean? But it's just the way that I dress, the way that I present myself, and the way that I carry myself, the energy that I bring to the room without even speaking. Right. People know they have to take me serious. Like, nothing about me looks cheap or half-assed. You know what I mean? And so people respect that. Not respect it, but people address me that way.
Love that. And guys, I only have 2 more questions just for the sake of time with you guys. What influences, ancestral, diasporic, or subcultural, do you draw on when designing for a modern day dandy? And then George, for you, just when you're helping your clients and trying to construct a suit for them. But Thrash, I'll let you go ahead and answer.
So in menswear, the majority of things derive from functionality and a lot of military things, right? So that's very important to me, to make sure things are functional. Like, when I met you yesterday, you charged me up and you tried to make sure everything on my outfit was right. And was I right?
I mean, you passed the test.
With flying colors.
Functional buttons, everything.
Functional buttons and everything. Because
right.
everything that I'm wearing was designed for a reason. There's nothing that you wear that wasn't made for a reason. Everything has a functionality to it. And that's just kind of what I pull from is when I design, is making sure that I understand when I'm designing for this client, I need to know why you need this garment design. I need to know where you're going to wear it to, because the fabric's going to play a role. The fit is going to play a role. You know what I mean? Even the color palette is going to play a role. And so being able to understand each and every client and what it is that they need, whether they're a tall, slim person or if they're a shorter, you know what I'm saying, more robust person, like, I can design for all those people and allow those people to still have the same level of comfortability and achieve the same thing, because I've actually took the time to, you know what I'm saying, do my research and learn, you know what I'm saying, learn.
Right. All right, George.
So I'll just use this as an example, and this might be a plug. I had an experience with a CEO for Tyler the Creator. Is one of my clients, really good friends with. Came in, he could buy a suit wherever he wants. I put a jacket on him and start speaking about the composition and the way it fits and the way that it was designed. And a lot of times with the suits that I deal with, I try to get the customer to feel like with this garment that I'm putting on him fits him like it's a tracksuit. So if you're wearing a tracksuit, you have the ability to actually go ahead and actually feel comfortable. You can drive the car. You can sit down and have a comfortable conversation. So for me, in the Italian world, they take what we call, I explained this to Thrash the other day, but he knew exactly where I was coming from. You can wear a jacket that has what they call a spalla camicia. The spalla camicia is an Italian term for a shirt shoulder. So even though you're wearing a jacket, it feels like a shirt. So a lot of times when you put that garment on a customer, it doesn't feel like he's restricted or anything like that. So it's very important that I actually share the comfortability of wearing a garment without really feeling like you got to get out of it when you get home and put on something a little more comfortable. You should even wear it all day and let it feel just like a tracksuit. So it's all about composition.
All right, George, thank you. All right, guys, last question. If the Black Dandy is a political figure, what is the message you're trying to send for your sartorial choices and designs?
I would just start out. That's for the OG right there.
Yeah. Could you repeat that again?
Excuse me, can you repeat that again?
If the Black Dandy is a political figure, and I'm saying it is,
It is.
what is the message you're trying to send through your sartorial choices and Thrash for you, your designs?
With me, I just feel like I wouldn't present myself where I could sit at any table in the world. Let's be honest with you. We are very charismatic and brilliant people. We come up with ideas with all different types of things. But our opportunity at the table is always not always presented. So if you put yourself in an orderly fashion, regardless of whether it's eclectic or a design that Devin has, you should be able to have a seat at the table. So put your best foot forward and make sure when you step, you know you're stepping. So,
All right, George.
I don't know if that answers.
I think it does. I think my takeaway from your response is what political statement you're trying to make with the Black Dandy is that the Black Dandy belongs everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, there are no bounds.
Yeah. I feel for me, it's definitely, I just want to represent my people well. You know what I mean? I want to, like I said, I want to be able to walk into any room and not feel like I'm the eyeball out, right? But also, I want to just be able to inspire others. I want other people to be like, yo, because I have this, man. Like, I've traveled the world a little bit, and like, I'm so surprised, like, when I go to different countries and people know who I am. And I remember I was in New York probably like 2 years ago, and I was literally on the train by myself. I was on the train, and I had on whatever, I forget, I don't remember what I had on, but I had shit. I was there for Fashion Week, so I had on some shit. And I remember it was this group of 5 kids that walked on the train, and they might have been like 18, 19 years old. And they came in, and they was like in the middle of the conversation as they entered the train. And I'm just standing in the corner. I got my headphones in. I'm, you know what I'm saying, just chilling, just trying to get to my destination. And I was probably on there for a good 5 minutes, and the kids were just having a conversation. They didn't really, you know what I'm saying, scope out what was going on. And then one of them ended up looking up, and he was like, bro, what? He's like, bro. And they all had on black suits. They all had on black suits, white suits. They looked like they maybe worked somewhere where they had to wear the same uniform or something. Okay. And he looked at me. He's like, bro, are you Thrash? I said, yeah. He's like, bro, you're literally the reason I'm getting money right now. Like, he didn't elaborate on what it was, but he's like, here's the exact word. He's like, you're the reason I'm getting money right now. And he ended up like telling one of his homeboys who I was or whatever, like, you know what I'm saying, we took photos and stuff on the platform. But like, that right there is what it gets me. It's like, the impact that I'm having on people is for something great. It's not just like, oh, you're a cool rapper and, you know what I'm saying, I see you on TV. It's like, that's fine and dandy, but it's like, when I'm like educating people on things, or I'm inspiring people to be better, you know what I'm saying, at things in life, that's what I feel my true calling is. So that's like literally the basis of everything I do, is like trying to make sure I'm living in my purpose. I spoke recently about the whole Met Gala thing, how there was a lot of people really upset that I wasn't a part of the Met Gala. I wasn't invited to the Met Gala. And I was saying, like, bro, like, y'all more upset about it than I am. Because I know what my purpose is. I'd rather be here at the Gullah Gala than the Met Gala. You know what I mean? Because I know my place. I know my influence. And I'm not a person for accolades. I'm literally here for the greater picture, and that's to see all my people win, to see all my people look good. You know what I mean? So I'd rather be here to where I can actually interact with the people who actually really love me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I'd rather be it. So I was like, man, y'all more upset by this than I am. Like, I didn't care to be there or not. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is the end of my questions. And before I open it up to the audience, Thrash and George, tell me a little bit about what y'all wearing today.
Today I'm wearing, what started, man? The feet, these whole cut. So I actually bought these thrifted, surprisingly. I don't do a lot of thrifting nowadays because I'm a designer. Like, I literally design shoes as well. But these I found in the thrift store, and I was like, yo, this is a great shoe to find in the thrift store for $25 that are my size. All right, so yeah, some great shoe. White socks, which is typically considered a very like taboo thing in menswear, is wearing white socks. Yeah, but the black dandy don't give up.
True.
Yeah, it is. So that's the white socks is kind of part of my whole aesthetic. I'm saying the white trousers. Y'all don't want me to nerd out on the details, but I could if y'all wanted me to. Then
Do it. Do it. The Dandyism panel. Let's go.
Well, I guess I gotta stand up again. Well, you see my pants are bespoke, right? So that's why you see they fit me flawlessly and effortlessly. I have a higher waistband. That right there is gonna help you. One, you know how people stand up and sit down and their shirt be coming all untucked. You don't gotta worry about that when your pants are sitting where they're supposed to sit at, right? I don't have belt loops. I don't need belt loops. My clothes are custom made to fit me how they're supposed to fit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I have the 2-inch waistband, therefore I brought on the 2-inch cuff. You know what I mean? So those are some of the things. The double-breasted coat. So one thing that I'm known for is mixing patterns and colors. So with this jacket actually has a pair of shorts that go with it as well. So that's also another thing. When I design things to be able to like expand your wardrobe. So things that you can mix and match and really make creative outfits instead of feeling like you have to wear the same look the same way every time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I very rarely am seen wearing a complete suit head to toe. It's very rare to see me do that. I design that way. I make the full suit. But majority of the time when I put an outfit together, I'm going to mix and match things because that's where I get to be more creative. So this jacket is actually 2 completely different fabrics that I put together. So, but the colors are so spot on that it just flows well and you don't really notice. It just kind of looks like it may just be a one fabric that just has these kind of oddball, you know, some kind of dimension to it.
And when you say 2 different types of fabrics, are you talking about like one is wool? And
No, there's the same fabric. The same fabric. The patterns.
Okay.
Yeah, the patterns are different.
I was gonna say that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm saying then I went 6x2 double breasted.
Got a patch pocket going on in the jacket.
Yeah, with the buttons and I'm saying the patch pockets. I'm saying to keep things a little bit casual. Like I can nerd out about all this stuff all day. I don't even remember what I put on. Sometimes I just be in the mood. I just be in the vibe. I'm like, yeah, this shit feels good right now. I might hate it tomorrow, but it feels good right now. So I went, you know what I'm saying, with a floral tie, crisp white shirt. You know what I mean? I don't white shirt. Sometimes when I wear this, I wear a pink shirt and I wear pink socks. So I had it. So I literally don't be knowing what I wear sometimes. I was making a joke yesterday. I didn't know what I looked like yesterday because I never even looked in the mirror after I got dressed yesterday. I never even knew what I looked like yesterday until I seen a photo.
Together.
Thanks.
You was put together.
Thanks.
I'm wearing a sartorial, which is a Neapolitan garment that I sell a lot in the store. This is $16 a handwork. The fabric is a Solora fabric, so as you walk out into the sun, you see an orange herringbone that comes right through the fabric. So, and I'm wearing a custom shirt that I designed inside the store as well. This Hamilton shirt with a cutaway collar, which is very English. Tie is Jeff Nicholson. And shoes is Santoni, which is also Italian. And just like everybody is familiar with the red bottom, Santoni does an orange bottom.
Educator's door.
So, yeah, this is what we call like a weekend in a bag. I take this suit with me a lot because I can roll it up and put it in a duffel bag. But I can also wear the pants with a navy jacket. I wear the full suit on Saturday. And then I might decide to wear the jacket with jeans on Sunday and I'm off. I'm done.
With the type of fabric that this suit is, would you consider this kind of like a workforce suit?
No.
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 Right,
It's an event suit.
an event suit.
Yes.
Okay, so you just throw it in the bag. You know,
Yeah, but I mean, just because of the construction of it, you can throw it in a bag. Like, I can take this jacket off and ball it up and put it in my bag and wear it when I get to my event.
Like, especially speaking as a designer, like this why me and him can have this level of conversation about the detail. I mean, even me, you had conversation about going into the level of detail, and that's what I love about menswear. That's why I went this route, because I actually love the intentionality behind everything. Like, there's a reason for literally everything I'm wearing and why I'm wearing it the way that I am. So that is why these type of clothes are literally investments. You know what I mean? Like, and none of this stuff cheap. You know what I'm saying? So, but once you start learning those things, you start understanding, it's like, oh, yo, I'm really investing into my wardrobe and investing in the things that I'm going to continually always be able to wear. Versus, you know what I'm saying, things that come in and out of style or fads or things that are going to wear out quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you're wearing like the correct type of fabrics and things like that, these fabrics can last you a long time, especially if you take care of them the right way. But if you're wearing a whole bunch of polyesters and, you know what I'm saying, all that type of stuff, like that stuff, nylon, all that stuff is going to wear out all the time. You know what I mean? But if you wear the right type of stuff, like you say, it really can stand the test of time. So I prefer to invest my money that way.
Okay, nice. Dave, you want to hop in here?
Come on, man. I got Walmart white tee on. I got some Kangol. No, but I do got one question, though.
What y'all got on your wrist, man? People know what y'all got on your wrist, man. Accessories.
Nah, don't cover it up, bro. I know, hey, ain't no reason to be humble about it. Come on, tell me what you got. I'll tell you what I got. You tell me what you got.
What you talking about? You talking about?
Yeah.
This is just a simple D-chest. Simple D-chest.
It ain't simple, man. It ain't simple.
I mean, you the one. Yeah, it's a stainless D-chest Rolex.
Say it with your chest, George. Come on, like.
So I'll go in on mine. Like, I tell you, I'm very intentional about things that I'm trying to do. So for my watch, we're literally wearing the same watch, but I have a vintage version. So mine is a 1985 Rolex Datejust, and I went with the two-tone because I always wanted the versatility of if I wore different accessories, or because I'm majority wear gold, but if I decide I wanted to wear silver, then I have a watch that I can consistently always wear. Because one thing about me is I'm very consistent with my look and my style. So you can see I wear the same glasses pretty much every day. I wear the same accessories every day. So I never wanted to be a person where I'm just like switching up things all the time and you just never know what you're going to get. I'm pretty consistent with the things. And I also don't believe in buying things and investing in things just to put them on a shelf and let them collect dust. It's like, no, I bought this watch and I wear it every single day. I don't care if I got on jeans and a t-shirt or if I'm wearing a suit. You know what I mean? Like, I wear my things. So.
Oh, I love it.
I wear mine before anything. So this isn't even that I just wore it.
Hey, to each their own. To each their own, but yeah, so another thing about me is that I believe in only investing in the things that I love. So the car that I drive my dream car. I live in my dream apartment in LA. I wear the type of clothes that I dreamt of wearing every single day. You know what I mean? So everything in my life it seems curated, but it's not. It wasn't necessarily curated because I want to have this persona. It's just I don't believe in buying filler stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even when I design clothes for myself, I design things that I need in my wardrobe, and I don't overindulge. I don't have multiple navy blue suits. I don't have multiple black suits. I have a black suit because I need a black suit. I have a navy suit because I need a navy suit. I have a black tuxedo because I need a black tuxedo. You know what I mean?
And a white dinner jacket.
And of course I got a white dinner jacket. You know what I mean? So, but yes, I'm very intentional about those things, and I only invest in the things that I love. So if you see me and I have it, it's because it's the thing that I always wanted, and I'm not gonna settle for anything less than whatever that is.
All right, I love that. All right, before we close it out, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about what I'm wearing. I'm the moderator on the panel, so I didn't really get to dive into what I do at OMJ, but I am also a wardrobe consultant. We do men and women's custom clothing at OMJ. This is a custom garment that I designed myself from OMJ.
And it's basically like a jacket, but it also is like an overcoat, and you can also wear it as a blazer dress. Yeah. And pants they got on are from Hampton Clothing. This is a Black designer, Christopher John Rogers. One of my favorite designers. Riri's recently been pictured in some of his pieces, but he just made his debut back to Fashion Week this past year. So, and then I got Gucci on the feet. And yeah, that's it.
There you go.
All right. If anybody in the audience has any questions for the panelists, for me, floor is open.
I want to know, so if you do consider yourself to be a dandy, how do you represent or express that? Is it more in the fabrics and the silhouettes of your outfit, or is it more in the accessories like the brooches, the watches?
For me, yeah, all of that. For me, it's a combination of all of those things. So from the type, so like you won't see me wearing just a regular. Well, I know I mentioned earlier, but you will never see me wearing just a regular navy suit. Like that isn't my form of dandyism. My form of dandyism is pushing things to the limit while still keeping it, you know what I mean, kind of keeping it within certain parameters. So for me, I want to wear the best fabrics. I want to wear the coolest patterns, and I want to accessorize and wear the coolest accessories. You know what I mean? So all of those things on top of each other is what is the reason why it's kind of looked at the way it is. So often when people like look at me, they're like, "Oh, I love your outfit," and then they'll go down there, they're like, "Oh, damn, well the shoes is a whole thing by themselves." Then the pants, like these pants going crazy. The jacket, the shirt, the tie, the pocket square, the earrings, the hair, the glasses. You know what I mean? So like it's a whole thing. So I don't just put an outfit on just to put an outfit on. It's like every single thing has its own life to it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's just making sure I have an impeccable sense of style. I'm one of two guys that actually work on the peninsula in fashion, being Black.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's almost like it's my call of duty to present myself in an orderly fashion every day I walk out of the door, because I want them to know who I am. Everybody that's on King Street probably will tell you there's probably 1 or 2 blocks I'll talk to 2 or 3 different people. And that's me exemplifying myself as a dandy, because there's not many of me walking around in downtown Charleston right now. I wish there was Thrash that could help me out, but he's in LA. So
I used to be.
Well, sometimes you need to come back home.
Going back.
So Janelle may touch on it a little bit during the Met Gala, but do you think fashion and respectability politics go hand in hand?
I believe so. Simply because from Virginia down, we can be colorful, we can be charismatic, I mean, we can do whatever we want and still go to work. But if you go from Virginia to New York, it's a color barrier where it's all black, blue, and charcoal gray. Those are what you would see all of your businessmen wearing in all of the photos, the offices. They even got mad at President Obama for wearing a tan suit. So yes, the color barrier for me, I believe, comes anywhere from Virginia down. We can do whatever we want when it comes to colors, and we can go in more rooms and look as colorful as we want. But as you go across that state line and go into Virginia and DC, there's a proper protocol, they would say. This is a certain decorum for you to go ahead and actually come in a boardroom or be a salesman or do whatever profession you're in. So I think there is some political issues to it, but not to the full extent of the way they would want to look at it.
And I want to hop in on that question too, Chris. I would say from a standpoint as an attorney, there definitely is respectability politics that play into what you wear in the courtroom, or you go into a deposition, mediation. When I went to law school, they basically taught us to not draw attention to ourselves. If we're going to court, we are not to wear flashy things. We couldn't wear Gucci shoes not Gucci shoes, no red bottoms, and no flashy suits, because you really wanted the attention kind of to be on the client. So I really feel like a part of dandyism is kind of like you peacocking, you're spreading your feathers, and then it's just certain environments. Just because the show is not necessarily about you, in order to go along, to get along, or to play the respectability politics game, you kind of have to, put on that navy suit or that gray suit or the black suit.
And to bounce off of that, so like when Lil' Kim was going to court back in the 90s, all of her looks were documented. So it's like for the client, even with Kim Kardashian now.
And some Brody too.
Yeah, right. And even with Kim Kardashian in Paris with the looks, granted everything is black and muted, but it's structured. Like I'm here to win my case.
Right.
So
you want respect from the judge. You want respect from the jury. You want them to see you as a respectable person.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily saying that a dandy isn't a respectable person, but it kind of goes back to that definition I was delving into at the beginning, whereas in back of the day, other cultures would see black dandyism, flashy suits, bright suits as, not professional.
Right.
Resistance. Exactly.
Yeah, like this isn't about you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, that's a good question.
Anybody else?
Is there any look that you wanted to see on the Met Gala? Because I was looking for zoot suits. Surprising. Really?
Yeah, there wasn't one.
I didn't see
I didn't see it either.
No.
And it wasn't a black person that wore it either.
No, zoot suits is all over Malcolm X, girl. I mean, that was that era, that time.
Somebody wore a zoot suit to the Met Gala. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't a black person. Yeah, I want to say like a Hispanic guy or something like that. But it was one on there. But the Met Gala, there were a lot of things that I actually did like at the Met Gala. There was a few things that I didn't like. Yeah, I wasn't upset about it.
How do y'all feel about, there was a lot of designers that didn't participate this year because it was celebrating Black Dandyism. I know Gucci was one of them. I think there was a good dinner.
Great question.
It's funny because I actually, leading up to it, I was always curious how it was going to go, right? Because the whole thing with the Met Gala, especially doing as a designer, like it's a lot of politics to it. So that's why people are like, oh, I know Thrash is going to be there. I'm like, yeah, I know I ain't going to be there because the way the politics get down with the Met Gala already, I know, so I just kind of knew how that went. And I literally just lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
How do you feel about the major designers?
Oh, them not being a part of it. So, that I actually didn't even know that. I didn't watch the Met Gala. I watched Cliff Notes of it from Instagram. I really don't be worried about, other people's stuff that much. But I think that I knew when I first heard about the theme, I got an influx of people hitting me up on social media. Like excited to see me there, excited to see who else in the dress, But I knew, and I had already seen it happening, that a lot of these like white fashion houses were gonna start bringing in like black designers, black creative directors and stuff like that. And you see that with Ralph Lauren brought in a young black guy. You got Pharrell over at Louis Vuitton. You got Balmain. They even had what's his name?
Routine.
Yeah, I forget his name. But I mean, he had already been there. But I seen it kind of. You could tell they already knew what was going on. Because even speaking of Janelle Monáe. So Janelle Monáe's creative director is one of my clients. So he was there. He was wearing he was in New York with her, but he wasn't on the red carpet, but he was wearing one of my looks. And he was telling me how the politics with that. He's like, Janelle is gonna wear, he told me what she's gonna, well, he didn't know what she's gonna wear. He told me who she's gonna wear. Mm-hmm. And he was like, what they're trying to do is they're just trying to bring in more black people to be a part of the team of pulling this look together, even though, you're gonna deal with these like white fashion houses. So that's what a lot of people did. They were just like, oh, I'm gonna work with a black stylist, even though I'm gonna work with this white designer, because the white designer is the one that's paying for them to be there. Right. I mean, majority of the celebrities that you see there aren't invited by Anna Wintour. Exactly. They're invited by the brands.
Exactly.
Black brands like myself, I ain't got $75,000 to invite. Like we don't. That's why I knew it wasn't gonna be a lot of us there. One of my close friends, well, I can't even call him close friend, but we do the same thing. We're very aware of each other in LA. I'll say that much. So we have a relationship. He was able to be there because he started dressing Tyler Perry. So I was super hyped about that because I had actually spoke to him not too long ago at an event that was at his space, and he didn't even tell me. So like I was super hyped about that. You know what I mean? To see my people, and like a lot of people assume that because we all do the same thing, because it's me, BJ Gray, there's my boy Rich Fresh, like we all kind of do the same thing, and there's a lot of us in the custom menswear space, but we don't see each other as competition. Like we all hype each other up, we all trading resources and doing all these different things. You know what I mean? Like when I dressed Cedric the Entertainer for the Emmys, when he hosted the Emmys a couple years ago, he actually wore me and my homies look in the same day. So he wore my homies look at one point of the day. He wore mine when he opened up, you know what I'm saying, hosting the event or whatever. And like me and my homie didn't know this. So as soon as I saw it, the first thing I do is I'm sitting on my couch and I called him like, yo, bro, what the? This is a dope full circle moment, because I remember when me and him were both sleeping on couches in LA to get to where we were, you know what I'm saying, where we were trying to go. So now we're dressing the same client on the same major, you know what I'm saying, platforms. But I saw that coming, and that's what happened with a lot of those people. They was like, yo, we're going to take the money, we're going to take the invite from these white companies, but we're just going to try to make sure we have a completely black team behind us. But like that's just part of the politics to it. Yeah.
And I'll also hop in on this question a little bit. I thought that it was funny that a lot of fashion houses didn't participate, but that this year, like, we raised more money than ever with the Black Dollar, and with them, you know, trying to kind of cling on again, like, to our swagger, to what we bring to the table. And it didn't matter that those brands didn't come or that they didn't want to participate. The show, like, still went on.
So,
yes.
So I got a question for y'all three, right? So when it comes to the politics in fashion, right, especially with the Met Gala, what's y'all thoughts on? Cause you know they start planning stuff like three years in advance, right? All the themes, like the themes and stuff like that. So if you look around, like all these major fashion houses like Louis Vuitton, even Ralph Lauren had a black girl director, right? Do y'all think that played a part in, you know, this theme and all that? Like they knew this theme was coming up, so that's why they.
That's literally what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the financial part of doing things, you just gotta understand that a lot of us don't have that revenue to do that. Mm-hmm. So I know that whatever the amount they paid, they brought in a team to make sure that what they paid required them to wear what they asked them and told them to wear. A lot of people don't know that.
Exactly.
So
we don't get to choose.
You could have gotten in with that group that you had to wear at the table what they told you to wear.
Yep.
Yeah, like Ann Wintour had to approve of every look.
They got to approve it. So yeah, so what Lewis Hamilton did is he's the Formula One racing guy. He bought a table out of his own pocket, and then he invited the emerging designers. And he's been doing this every year. He had an opportunity to do it. He would invite emerging designers. He invited who he wanted to invite, but he bought the whole table. That means you can wear whatever you want to wear as many dresses. Mm-hmm. Other than that, if that designer is buying that table, you have to wear the clothes. You have to pick whoever your stylist is to be able to fit you in that particular designer's apparel. Mm-hmm. So that's the political part that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm. And that's why Kai Sanaa didn't go.
Oh, where?
He didn't want the designer that reached out to him. He didn't want to work with that particular designer. Never said who the designer was, but he didn't want to draw it down.
Lewis Hamilton?
I know, Kai Sanaa.
Oh, okay.
Little shrimp.
Yeah. His outfit for that party, I don't know.
Exactly.
He
needed a designer.
Man, these guys is young, man.
Oh, I know. I mean, kudos to him for what he's doing and the fact that he was there. Casey.
Quick question. Well, maybe not so big. Wait. When you're styling for a red carpet versus like that everyday against wear type situation, especially because it's so quick, what's your thought process when you're doing it? Because I feel like Tiana Taylor's look to me was one of my favorite. Like it got like a moment, and I thought it was very interesting that her stylist and as well as Chion Monet for both like into the air. So it was like they created the character for the moment. So is that like is it characterization or is it like just delving into the personality of the person?
Yes, I mean for me, I don't really do avant-garde things. So the Met Gala is a completely different level of, you know what I'm saying, stylization from when I'm designing for red carpets. It's simply the Emmys, the Grammys, or, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, to where it's not as
Costume.
Pieces. And then it's just more so about who the client is and what that client is trying to portray. You know what I mean? And then figuring out. So what I allow my clients to do is I allow my clients to go balls to the wall, go be as creative as you want to, give me all the inspo, all the stuff that you're trying to do. And then it's my job to bring that into a place where it actually makes sense, right? Because especially since they're not into fashion or they're not into design, they just like a lot of stuff that they see, right? And it's like, okay, I understand why you like this, or I understand why you like this, but these two things aren't cohesive together. Right. And this is why. So with that, I'm also, the value that I'm bringing to my client is I'm also teaching you and educating you on things. So now, whether if you're still working with me or if you're dressing yourself when I'm not in the picture at the moment, you still can have these takeaways that now you just know how to dress better and present yourself better yourself. But yeah, so majority of the stuff that I do red carpet wise, it could be a little bit more expressive, but it never really leans towards like the costume or avant-garde type stuff. I'm definitely very traditional still in a sense. Even though I might experiment with different patterns, different colors and fabrics and things, the design aspect is never going to stray too far left.
All right, guys. Well, we're 30 minutes over time. I think that we can go ahead and cut it. I want to thank you guys all for coming out today. I want to thank Quentin. I want to thank George. Devin, thank you so much for putting this on. Thank you for having me out to moderate. Devin, do you want to say anything about the weekend or the weekend?
I just want to say thank y'all again. Thank everybody that showed up. Thank the panelists, thank Quentin for showing up and showing out like how you do. Brittany, I appreciate y'all. And yeah, man, the Gala was a beautiful weekend. It's first time as a festival, and we're gonna continue to do things our way. You know what I'm saying? For the people. All right, so yeah.
All right.